So the story's called Single White Female. How's that funny? Just kidding. I came out to myself my freshman year at Vassar. Fell in love with another girl and the whole, you know what, I'm sorry, baby. I can't fake it. I gotta put the light on. It's gonna be so good for you. It's gonna be so.
Valarie, do you want me to hold it for you?
Oh no, baby, I got 2 hands.
Are you ready?
I mean, I didn't mean to diss anybody who doesn't. I just happen to have 2. That's the way God made me. So, again, we're going to repeat. Single white female. I came out to myself my freshman year at Vassar. Fell in love with another girl and a whole new world opened up. That pivotal relationship lasted 2 weeks. But a 2-week relationship in college is easily equates to a relationship of 7 months in the real world. And there weren't a ton of lesbians to choose from, so you were motivated to move from friends to lovers to enemies, back to friends. Again, sometimes as quick as a month. When I started to come out, the first person I told cautioned me not to come out to my family until I was ready to lose them. And that made sense. And so I lived a lesbian life at college, but was closeted at home. After college, I moved in with my college bestie, and we had been all of those things to each other, and had settled into a nice, rich friendship. We had an interesting salt and pepper dynamic. She was raised in Oklahoma and had a big, open smile and a slight drawl to prove it. She was charming in that cute as a button way, and I was more like lightning in a bottle, exuberant and saucy. You never knew what was going to come out of my mouth next. We balanced each other. We chose Brooklyn and found a cute railroad apartment in an even cuter neighborhood and set up house. For a time, we did everything together, from shopping to cleaning, cooking, protesting, to drinking 40s of Colt 45 and crushing on the ladies. One of the two of us, I was the more outgoing. So approaching women was a little easier for me. I was a baby dyke filled with gumption and more charisma than I knew what to do with. We had a time. One time I remember going to the Click Club in the meatpacking district. I never made it inside because I spent my time making out with the 3 butch bouncers on their staggered butts. After a time, though, my roommate and I got sick of each other, or rather, I got sick of her. So I spent less time with her and cultivated new friendships. And her response was strange. She decided to single white female me, just like in that movie. The plot was essentially a mentally unhinged woman ingratiates herself into another woman's life. They become roommates. She cuts her hair in the same style and starts borrowing her clothes, cut till she's giving the other woman's boyfriend head under the covers, and supposedly he is none the wiser. And on top of that, she tries to kill the main character and steal her life. And my roommate tried to steal my life. And most of the other plot details were the same, although the attempt to kill part was me to her. It started with me coming home from a day of job interviews to find her laying on the couch wearing a sweater of mine. It looked cute on her, so I overlooked the fact that she had walked into my bedroom and gone into my dresser to get it. I had contacted a black alum from school for some job leads, and he came through with one that ended in a job. He did this for a lot of black graduates that I knew. Apparently my roommate, copying me, also contacted him. And like with me, he got her a job interview. Now he understandably thought my roommate was black, He was known for being a mentor to black alums. He must have shared his assumption with the agency, so they also thought that she was black. She told me later that when she showed up for the interview, they asked her 3 times if she was who they had contacted on the phone. I laughed pretty hard when she told me that. It was an honest mistake, which I understood, since my name, Valarie Walker, isn't super ethnic, and I have good diction. Plenty of my interviewers were surprised that Valarie Walker was black. But humor aside, I was also confused about why she had contacted him in the first place. I was single, but hopeful and dating around. It was so easy to get crushes on these smart, ballsy women I was surrounded by who were frequently older. And though they thought me cute, my age worked against me. Being a cougar was not a thing yet. So they didn't take me seriously. Oh, but I enjoyed the flirt of the chase. And then I met a woman slightly younger who had also gone to my college. We planned a date right before Christmas. My roommate wasn't going home for the holidays and seemed lonely, so with my date's permission, I invited her along to be nice. Big mistake. My roommate got super drunk, and I regretted involving her. The conversation with my date couldn't really take off between us because we had to have a 3-way. And my increasingly drunken roommate began flirting pretty hard with my date. So much so that a few times that evening I felt like I was a third wheel. The evening ended with a sweet little kiss from her and a promise to hang out again. And yet when my roommate and I walked to the subway, I wasn't sure how I felt. I was certainly intrigued. She was caramel-colored chocolate with locks containing an amazing assortment of shells and sparkly things. She was beautiful. And also, was she flirting back with my roommate? A couple of days later, on Christmas Eve, my job let us out early, so I got home earlier than I normally would have. And as y'all already know this story. I can't even, God damn! I'm like, was this on TV or some shit? Sorry. So I got home earlier than I normally would have. And as I walked through the apartment, I saw clothing on the floor leading to my roommate's bedroom. I yelled out that I was home so she wouldn't come out of the bedroom naked and be startled. I went to the kitchen and made a snack and sat down in the living room. A short while later, my roommate came out of the room clothed, and following her was my date from a few days before. What the fuck? Both of them looked guilty as charged. Now, I don't play poker, but I knew how to fix my face. So neither of them could detect my shock, hurt, and slight disgust. I made my face look pleasant, and I greeted her and then got up from the couch and went into my room and closed the door. The woman was immaterial. I barely knew her. My hurt and my anger was for my roommate. Believe it or not, this same scenario happened 2 more times before things came to a head. Yes, child. Oh, scandal. We would be out together, and I would flirt with a woman and say at an ACT UP meeting, and we would set up a date for a Saturday or Sunday. And as good as an opener as I was, my roommate had me as a closer. Somehow, she would sleep with them the Friday or Saturday before. With that sweet oaky charm. And I was angry. I couldn't understand why she must hate me so much or what I could have ever done to her to deserve her to treat me this way. And then she got a girlfriend that I had nothing to do with. And I thought things would improve. Instead, her girlfriend became our non-rent paying third roommate. She was always around and she didn't clean up after herself. She had a bit of a holier-than-thou attitude. One day, I came home after work excited for some leftover pizza for dinner. a little bit hungry to save that portion for dinner. That's what that was. So I came home to have my pizza. And when I checked the fridge, wasn't there. I asked my roommate, and she said she didn't eat it. Even though it made me feel like I was my mother, I said, well, the slices didn't walk away by themselves. So I did a more thorough search of the fridge. Where the fuck was my pizza? After I wouldn't drop it, the girlfriend confessed to eating it and told me to calm down. In my own home. This person, who was not my girlfriend, and that I barely liked, had eaten my pizza without asking me, and now told me to calm down. I started rolling up my sleeves. Since she and hers couldn't seem to keep themselves from taking what was mine, I would stop her. I was not a violent person, but play with me too much and you will get hurt. The girlfriend left to spend time at her place. Finally. And later, I confronted my roommate. I remember I was in the bathroom washing my face. She passed the door and I stopped her. I wanted to know what was going on and why she was acting toward me the way she was. She remarkably didn't back down. She tried to lay blame at my feet, but it didn't make much sense. I thought it was remarkable because she was clearly in the wrong and I had about 30 pounds and 3 inches on her. Then I was done in the bathroom and was drying my hands. She puffed herself up in the doorway. I told her when I was done drying my hands, I was going to leave the bathroom. And if she was still in the doorway when that happened, I would move her. I said it quietly so that she would understand that I was serious. She moved herself in the very last seconds, trying to test me. In one last bid not to go to jail, I called my mother. I wasn't out to her because I didn't want to risk losing her. So normally I would change the pronouns when I talked to her about my life. However, I was so hurt, angry, and upset that it outweighed my fear of how she would react to my gayness. I needed my mommy. So I told my mother everything that had been happening exactly as it happened. My mother had met my roommate in college and she had never liked her. So she needed very little provocation to go off on her. She seemed to ignore the pronoun change and she just told me that my roommate had saved me from sleeping with those tramps, as she called me. She said if they slept with my roommate, they were not on my level. She told me to pack a bag and come home so I could have some peace. I was so thrilled that my mother was showing up for me when I needed her with that righteous, indignant mama bear energy, which was right and so what I needed. And the icing on the cake she seemed to be taking my gayness in stride. I never packed a bag that night or went to my mother's house. I didn't need to. That conversation with her had healed me. Her offering to come over and whip my roommate's ass with a belt was just what I needed to hear. Not to mention the huge relief I felt from having come out. I had no idea how heavy holding that inside had made me. And my mother was right. If those women were so easily led astray by my roommate, they were not for me. They were not worth me. Hold up. Come on up. My roommate and I survived that moment, but stopped living together. And although we are friends again, We never talk about the time she tried to steal my life.